Hello and welcome. I've been working with Godot for 2 weeks now, after about 5 years of working with Unity. So I thought I'd make a video and talk about my first impressions with the Godot game engine. Now, if you're looking to learn Godot, there seem to be a lot of free resources out there, much like with Unity. But I actually started taking a course on udemy.com from gamedev.tv. It's a Godot 2D course, and it's been really cool. I actually took one of their courses to learn Unity, and I really like their teaching style and how the course is structured as a whole. And between the course and all of the YouTube tutorials and all of the documentation and stuff, I feel like I've been able to learn a ton over these last 2 weeks and get used to Godot and how it does things. Now, as we go through the things I like and the things I don't like in Godot, just keep a couple things in mind. Number one, I worked exclusively in 2D this whole time. Number two, I used GD script exclusively and the in-game script editor. So that means I didn't use any C# at all, and I didn't use any external editors like Visual Studio Code or anything like that. I just really wanted to experience Godot as a whole and not rely on other things that I have more experience with to gauge the engine. So in the last 2 weeks, I've made a couple of different prototypes, and it was a lot of fun. I'm hoping maybe to put them out on itch.io sooner rather than later, so that you all can play them and give me some feedback on them. Alright, so let's jump right into the stuff I don't like in Godot. Now, keep in mind that I've only been using it for 2 weeks, and there might be really good ways around the issues that I had, and I just don't know them. If that is the case, then please let me know in the comments and point me to either documentation or tutorials on how to fix these things. But just keep in mind, this isn't meant to be a full, thorough review of the game engine. It's just my first impressions as a Unity user after 2 weeks. So the first thing that struck me coming from Unity and using Visual Studio was that there doesn't seem to be a really clean way in Godot of renaming and moving scripts around without breaking a bunch of stuff. You can find and replace, but that's really kind of finicky. In Visual Studio, there's a way to refactor stuff, and it works really, really well. So that's something I kind of have to be careful with, I've noticed. I'm getting kind of used to it, but it's definitely a bit of a shock coming from Unity and Visual Studio and C#. That also brings me to something that's kind of related in that I don't like how much reliance there seems to be in Godot on string references. But to be fair, I've already found a few solutions for a lot of the string references I was using to do something else, so maybe there's more solutions that I just don't know about yet. I'm also not a big fan of the way Godot handles the whole remote scene business when the game is running. It was just a little easier in Unity to tweak things at runtime and see the changes happening on screen in the scene view. The next one is a very minor gripe, but I wish I could look at 2 scripts at once rather than switching between them in Godot. I know this could be fixed by using an external editor, and frankly, I'm kind of getting used to it, but I still think it would be nice to have the option to do that in Engine. One thing that isn't really a complaint, but is just really different from how it worked in Unity, and so I'm still trying to get used to it, is there doesn't seem to be a way to turn a node branch off in the scene viewer in Godot. You can make them invisible, but that doesn't turn them off, and I guess I got really used to Unity, how you could basically take an entire collection of game objects and just turn them off, and then they wouldn't function, and you can turn them back on. That way you could keep extra stuff in your scene that maybe you're not using right away, but then turn it back on later. And my final complaint, which is maybe the most alarming for me, is that I've had a couple of scenes that got corrupted, and I was unable to figure out what exactly happened to them. I reloaded the project enough times, and then it just kind of worked again. I have no idea what's going on there. If anybody has a solution to that, please let me know in the comments. It seems to be working now, but I have no idea why they became corrupted or how they got fixed. Okay, it probably sounds like I hate Godot now, but I'm done complaining, so let's move on to the stuff I did like in Godot. Everything else. Seriously, it's fantastic. I love it. It is so fast. And I had heard that it was fast compared to Unity, but actually using it, it's crazy. It loads really quickly, it saves really quickly. Changing code is super fast to recompile. You can even change code while you're running the game, which is crazy to me coming from Unity. Getting a prototype for a game up and running is faster than I could have imagined, especially considering I only have 2 weeks of experience with the engine. It only takes like a couple of minutes sometimes. I was actually curious how long making the same thing would take me in Unity, an engine I have, over 5 years of experience in. And I opened it up and I made a new 2D project, and when I got in there, I thought for like 10 seconds and I closed it because I didn't want to have to import all of the 2D tools that I was going to need and switch over to the new input system. And I thought all the stuff I need to do to just kind of set up the project, and it just put me off completely from the whole test. Now, this isn't so much a complaint about Unity. It's not like it takes that long, but it is a huge compliment to how speedy Godot can be for prototyping. It really blew me away. It feels like you can really hit the ground running. Another thing I like is the node system. It did take me a little while to get used to it, and I don't think I fully understand yet how nodes and scenes are handled when the game is running completely yet, but I really like it. I feel like it is really intuitive and it works really well, and I feel like I'm getting better at using it, which is really, really nice. Another nice thing is I think the UI is really, really nice. It somehow feels less cluttered than Unity's, yet it still feels like it gives me all of the info I want. It's just really sleek and well made, I think. I also really like how all the nodes are categorized and how they are color-coded and have icons. It's a really nice touch. Now, I haven't used the tile map system too much, but I have dabbled in it a little bit, and my first impressions are that it's fantastic. It looks really good, and I'm excited to dive more into it. I've been working in 2D, and the grid snapping options in 2D are really nice, very quick and easy to use. Changing the grid size is super quick and easy. I love it. Another thing I like is auto loads. I haven't used them too much, but it seems like a really quick and streamlined singleton that you can use in Godot. Very cool. Another great streamlined thing in Godot is the input system. I thought it was really easy to use. Super easy to set up keyboard and mouse and controller support in a few seconds. And honestly, I could go on. Overall, my final thoughts are that I love it. I'm very impressed with it and really happy that I tried it out. Like I said, I'm not going to completely swear off Unity or anything. It's a great engine, and I know it fairly well at this point. Having said that, my current plan is to continue using Godot, unless it decides to corrupt all of my scenes, and that would be really sad. But otherwise, yeah, I'm going to keep using it. I think it's really, really good. I'm also going to continue to focus on 2D games for now. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, my hope is to make a game or two, really, really small games, and just put them up on itch.io so that everybody can try it out and give me some feedback on them. I'll keep everyone updated on that. And as always, thank you so much for watching.